this is TJ.
Nice to meet you.
So, TJ, I would love it if you would give us a little background about WorldFirst.
Absolutely. So WorldFirst, in general, what we do is we help with international payments. But in regards to our e-commerce business and our online seller business, what we do is we help with people who are selling online overseas. So a company based in the US selling on Amazon UK, and what we do is we help repatriate their earnings back to dollars at better exchange rates than what the marketplace would do, or what a bank would do, or anything like that. That's at the most simplest form. In
high level. Appreciate
some of the other, we help people who are selling around the world. So most of our US clients are selling in Europe, so in the UK, Euros, Canada, and then we also support Amazon China, Japan, Australia, and other marketplaces as well. Amazon, as you know, is just kind of the big guy.
Yeah. So obviously Amazon, giving people the ability to scale into Europe is not anything new by any means, but it is new-ish. So in the past, not even 3, 4, 5 years, as Amazon made it easier for people to scale into Europe or into, Australia now or anywhere new, are you guys finding just an influx of just sellers who are looking for help with currency and exchange rates and everything along those lines?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest one that we see is American-based sellers expanding to Canada, because the Pan-North American account, it's all in one login. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the European account, where you have one login and you can control Amazon UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain. So Amazon's really stepped up their game in terms of logistically putting everything together to make it easier for sellers to easily enable FBA to go to Canada or to the EU or wherever. A lot of sellers now are expanding into Canada. It's a pretty hot market at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had quite a few who have, that seems to be the first step, is you go to Canada and then you go to Europe and then you kind of venture out from there. We did just get a question for you. Can you help pay VAT taxes?
Yeah, we actually can. So kind of a little more about how we work. What we do is we provide local receiving accounts in the regions that you're selling. So if you're selling in the UK, we'll provide you with a British pound account. Amazon will transfer those pounds to WorldFirst free of charge. And then once the pounds are in the WorldFirst account, we can then pay them directly out to the VAT authorities, or euros to the European authorities, Canadian dollars to those authorities as well.
Beautiful. Now, I know that there are sellers who maybe you work with some kind of vendor out in Europe or anything along those lines, and sometimes you can actually get a discount by working with them if you actually pay them in their currency as opposed to paying them in US and then they have to convert it and all that stuff. So is it possible for some sellers to actually utilize the money that they have with you to pay vendors in Europe or anything along those lines, so they don't have to worry about that whole currency?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have to pay vendors in the UK, Euro, we can absolutely do that with the funds that you have on account. The other one that's really popular is a lot of people source from China, and a lot of Chinese vendors will just sort of invoice you in US dollars because they know that's easier for you than paying into local currency. But when they do that invoice in dollars, they do add an extra percentage in there so that they don't lose when they have to convert it into local currency. What we can do is, whether we take your pounds that you have and transfer them directly into Chinese yuan, we can do that for you, and then you won't be paying that extra percentage. Or we can help with, if you just had dollars in your account, if you don't even sell overseas on Amazon, we can help with domestic sellers. You have to pay, in local currency into China as well.
Okay. All right, so let's have a little fun with it. What is the mistake you see sellers making, like, all the time? Like, is there anything on a currency side or when they first start working with you or anything along those lines? It's just horror stories.
I think one of the biggest mistake that people make when first expanding overseas, and especially like we said, a lot of people expand to Canada first, is they expect the same sales that they're going to have in the U.S., but the market's just not the same. So they only send, a few SKUs or, maybe 5 of each item, and they don't sell as quick, and they get disappointed, and then they pull out and they don't do it. If I was to recommend a marketplace to expand to first, I would absolutely say expand to the UK first. Very similar demographic in terms of the US. British people are much more inclined to spend a little bit more. What I find that if you sell something, for $10 in the US, you can sell it for £10 in the UK. So, the exchange rate right now, it actually just took a nosedive over the last couple of days, but it's around 1.3. So, you would be getting quite a bit more money when you do bring your pounds back to dollars, which can offset the cost of, VAT or shipping it overseas and stuff like that. The other sort of mistake some people make is not utilizing FBA, especially on the international markets. Sending 100 individual packages over to the UK or Germany, wherever you're selling, that'll definitely get really pricey. So I would take advantage of the, sort of logistics setup that Amazon has. It's one of the really good things that they've done, I believe.
Okay. So we know that sellers who are trying to expand into Europe, we always find you have to kind of weigh which country you want to go to. Usually we have the same, in most cases we have a very similar suggestion where UK is typically the easiest because translations and things like that are more or less the exact, there's no translation with the exclusion of a few words here and there. But we also know that oddly enough, Germany has been primarily the top Amazon Europe country. So I know that you kind of have to weigh whether you want to deal with the headache of getting translations and getting them done correctly and whether or not they're accurate because you never really know. Do you trust someone, blah blah, or do you go to UK, make it less of a headache, and make a little bit less? So do you guys find it's a lot more, it's easier right now to just continue to go into the UK, or do you suggest some sellers to try going to Germany or any other country?
I think it very much depends on your product. There are products that do, if you're selling watches, for example, you're going to do much better I find, in Italy and France than they do in Germany. I mean, that's just, looking at the market and seeing what people buy. But, what I do find is you can do what's called the European Fulfillment Network, where you only send your products to the UK and they get fulfilled from there. That's what some of our VAT companies that we work with, that's what they advise as well, because then you only have to pay VAT in that one country where you ship your products to. I absolutely think that you should take advantage of the full Amazon offering. So especially, like I said, with they have the pan-European where you can log in and easily, not translate, but easily list across those four or five marketplaces. You might as well, especially if your products are already overseas. It can't hurt to do that.
Yeah. So we just got a question, what are the best products to sell internationally, which is a fantastic question. I mean, my insight on that, the best products to sell internationally. I mean, obviously the stuff that everyone wants, like clothes for the most part, yeah, you should go with styles and things like that. Or, everyone has a phone. There are certain phones out there, certain accessories like that. But I feel like I don't know if there's an answer for that.
It's not.
That one's kind of tough.
It's not. And I feel like if I give that answer, then, I'm doing all the research for you. You need to know what's good for your business. You need to understand what you're selling. Don't just buy something and list it because, I said so or you said so. If you're going to do it, if you're going to be successful on Amazon, I think you really need to understand the market you're going into, and you need to understand what you're selling and who's buying.
Yeah, I feel like there's really not there's not that many products out there that wouldn't sell overseas, at all, zero sales. But I feel like there are some that would get very minimal sales. Like, for instance, like if I sold Tervis cups, everyone drinks water, right? But I have a Steelers one. So if I sold that in Germany, I don't think there's that big of a Steelers market in Germany. I'm probably not going to do that well. So I feel like I would focus more towards like general stuff, but
Yeah, exactly.
I digress. So these are usually short and sweet, and I don't want to take up more of your Friday. You can go enjoy beautiful Austin. So TJ, if you wouldn't mind just giving me some closing statements, let everyone know where they can find more information about WorldFirst, and then we'll call it a day.
Absolutely. So, you can find us at worldfirst.com. You can absolutely email me personally as well, tj.hyland, Hyland, at worldfirst.com. Happy to answer any questions you have, whether you're thinking of expanding, whether you already sell internationally. There's a lot of things that you can do to increase your bottom line, and currency exchange and being more cognizant of the markets and the rates is one easy step that we can help with.
Perfect. TJ, I appreciate it. Everyone who watched, thank you so much. If we weren't able to get to your questions, feel free to DM either of us. Go ahead and slide on in. And we'll have this up on our YouTube and save this up in a bunch of different places too, so everyone can look at it later. But TJ, thank you so much. Enjoy your Friday. Everybody else, have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks guys.
Andy.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.